Oh, hello. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in another RSK Ecosystem update. We have lots of news in the ecosystem. I believe once a month, this is not going to be enough for the amount of projects and news coming into the DeFi for Bitcoin and RSK ecosystem. So we have amazing speakers today. We're going to start with Adrian with an update on the RSK next hard fork. Then Ale will be presenting some news on the RSK infrastructure framework. And then we're going to have Bixo. It's a new wallet, very exciting, with some new technology coming into live in the RSK ecosystem. Bleumi, which is an e-commerce solution, very much used within the ecosystem. Tenderly, it's a new solution coming to the RSK ecosystem with metrics, very interesting for other RSK partners. And Tropicus, which is this new DeFi solution on top of RSK, coming from the Tropicus. So very, very exciting. Before we start, those of you who want to get some RBTC to test, a beta test the Bixo solution, you can download it now. You can go to the App Store and download Bixo. It's BEEXO. And you might get some tokens to play around and to test the wallet. This is going to be presented by Ezequiel in a few minutes. But if you want to gain some time and download the Bixo wallet, you can do it now. There's been another major milestone that happened on the RSK ecosystem last month, which is that we reached the same amount of Bitcoins locked in the RSK network as we have in the Lightning network. We are all Bitcoiners and big fans of Lightning, and it's an honor now that the RSK ecosystem, with all the wonderful solutions that you've built on top of RSK, has now the same amount, around 1,300 Bitcoin locked in the second layer of smart contracts on RSK. This is helping the Bitcoin ecosystem as a whole. So we're very proud of the whole DeFi for Bitcoin ecosystem for this major milestone. So thanks to everyone who contributed to this amazing piece of news. So with no further ado, I'll pass the mic to Adrian, who has some exciting news to share with all of us.
Cool. Thank you, Gabriel. So hi everyone. This is a 2-minute update on the Iris network upgrade. So it's a bit noisy here. Hope you can hear me well. So well, you've most probably heard about about Iris before. Iris is the name for the upcoming hard fork in the RSK network. I'm not talking today about what's included in Iris. There on the slide, you will find 2 links where you can read more about it. The first one is a link to the RSK IP, which is kind of an index, including links to each of the RSK IPs that have been accepted for Iris. But if you want more of a quick general overview, the second link points to a nice blog post written by Sergio Lerner, where he summarizes the most relevant protocol changes. The status right now for Iris is that the RSK cheat code is now freezed and has already undergone the necessary security reviews. So we are now on the last stage of integration tests and network simulations. That basically means that no additional changes will be made into the code, except of course for any bug that is identified and needs to be fixed. And we expect this last phase before launch to take around 3 weeks. And after that, if everything goes well, we will be ready to make the release publicly available in our GitHub repos. So once RSKJ is publicly released, there will be a few weeks until consensus changes are activated, as usual in any network app or in any hard fork. The activation block numbers are not yet defined, but we know that activation will happen in testnet first, usually around 2 weeks after release, and mainnet activation will most probably happen around 4 weeks after release, if of course testnet activation goes smoothly. So again, we expect around 3 more weeks until release and 4 more weeks until activation on mainnet. This is a huge release, so we need to be sure that everything works as expected. The good news here is you can already access a release candidate version. You have the link there in the slide. And this is the one we are using for our ongoing tests. There are already a few non-critical nodes in the RSK testnet and the RSK mainnet run this exact same version. And it's really, really important that you can start testing your applications with this release candidate and help us identify any issues that may exist. And of course, any problem you find or any question about integrating with Iris, you can always connect with the teams working on this on the RSK community open Slack. You can find also the link. And of course, your feedback is extremely helpful for all of us. So, and finally, we are soon kicking off the community discussions around the next network upgrade. We are giving it the name of Hop, at least for now. So these community calls will let us decide what will be included in it. Of course, as a community, make a decision on that. And the first one will happen on the 20th of May. I believe Gabriel will be sharing a bit more of information about this later on this meeting. But of course, we will be communicating this more formally very soon. So that's it. Thanks, everyone. And happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Great news coming to the network. I know the community is very excited about this upcoming Iris upgrade. And also the community discussion is a great opportunity to make sure that every single technology that the RSK community needs to be included in the next network upgrade can be included. So thank you so much, Adrian. And with this, we pass the mic to Allen Arancio, who's going to be explaining us about the new release of Reef Storage. Is that correct?
Yes, on Marketplace. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you for coming. Well, before I will take a few minutes before explaining the market. For us, the Reef Storage pinning integrated into the marketplace is a very big milestone. I will try to explain why. We released Reef Storage, the first version last year, which allows to the dApps to connect to multiple decentralized storage solutions, initially Swarm and IPFS. Okay, but any decentralized storage solution has an issue. You upload your files. The files are distributed over the network, but there is not any guarantee that that file will persist. Why? Because the nodes that participate in the network are getting incentivized for the retrieval of the file. So they basically prioritize the files that are more popular because they will increase their incentives. So our second release in Reef Storage was create a pinning service. What is a pinning service? A pinning service is a service when a user can pay to keep the file alive in the network. That's very important. So we create a very decentralized pinning service that any of you can download and start to offer that service as your own. But there was a leg missing in between, which is we have the service providers with the pinning service that could be any of you that has some free storage on your disk and want to win something, get some earnings, okay? You can start your pinning service, okay? But you need customers, you need users. So integrating this new service into the marketplace allows to connect the consumers and the service providers. So we released this this month. So basically, right now, anyone can create can set up their own pinning service, can provide publish their service in the marketplace. They could choose if they want to be paid in RBTC or Reef, okay? And they can choose how much of this they will charge for each gigabyte of data. And the consumers that if I need to store a file and for example, it's a backup or something, and I'm sure that it will not be very popular, I can pay to these services get the file permanent and immutable in the storage network. Right now with IPFS. That's a very summarize of why it's so important for us, this milestone.
Ale, I have a question. Are we planning to do a webinar or an in-depth
yes.
demo on how to use this technology?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. We will send in the news in the social networks the dates. But yes, we are preparing.
Perfect. So everyone stay tuned for this live demo. And just let me make a comment why this is so important and why the RSK infrastructure framework focused on Reef storage as one of the solutions to be offered to the ecosystem. As we all know, Satoshi and decentralized finance are giving us freedom to exchange value, but the internet as we know it is still fully concentrated on a few corporations and hands, and storage is one of the main bottlenecks of centralization and censorship in the internet. So what Reef storage and this pinning service allows, it's, for instance, that people that are using Reef identity can save their own reputation on a decentralized cloud with the Reef Vault, right? So if you're an unbanked person or if you are using a decentralized sharing economy, you can save your contact and your reputation on this decentralized pinning service. Taringa, for instance, will be using this technology to store all files and pictures shared among users on a decentralized manner. But probably the most exciting and important one is that now every single RSK partner can have a landing website hitting their smart contracts for sovereign, for money on chain, for any project on RSK, and they could have this landing that is uncensorable and impossible to be shut down. So this is why our Reef storage exists, and this is why now it's available to all of you. If you want to learn more and how to benefit from this, talk to Ale directly, and he and the team will help you just have a version of your solution that is basically impossible to be censored around the world.
For
so
sure.
This is why Reef storage and this pinning service on the marketplace is so important. So thank you so much to the whole team and community that have been working on this, and really looking forward to see it implemented, Ale.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. So with this, we can pass to our next speaker. No, sorry. First, we need to make this announcement. Adrian already mentioned it. The first community call is going to happen on May 20th. It's going to be led by the RSK research team, and we're going to be discussing the technologies that will be included in the next hard fork, hope. So make sure you participate. You'll receive and you'll see the details, but this is the link to join the discussion. We're going to be sharing the exact time on May 20th. But please participate because we want to hear everyone's contributions, and we want to make sure that the technology that all the ecosystem needs is included in the next hard fork. So thank you so much, Adrian and Ale. And with this, now let's move to Ezequiel from Bixo. This amazing new wallet coming into the RSK ecosystem with some great technology embedded.
Hello, Gabi.
Yeah,
How are you?
It's a little bit low, Eze. Maybe you can get closer to the mic.
Yes. Do you listen to me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am here. I am the CEO of Bixo. I am with Santi too. He's the CTO. We are presenting the crypto chat inside of Bixo wallet. We are something special to us for the community, Gabi, something funny. So like you see here, we are going to give away some Bitcoins. So I want that for those who want to participate experience, I am going to ask you if to download the app from the website, from bixo.com. So the first 3 participants who chat directly with me will receive this RBTC, just like that. Chat is going to, with a simple and easy steps, will receive directly in their wallets, in Bixo wallet, RBTC. If you can pass the next slide, you can see all these steps, really simple. I am right now on the chat. So the first, when you download the app, is to accept all the terms and conditions. You can play too, Gabi, if you want. So the first one is to accept all the terms and conditions. The second one is to go to the chat. It's very easy. You can see there is only 3 buttons. The first one is the wallet. The middle one is to scan the QR, and the last one is the chat. So in the chat, you can find the search. In step number 3, you can search under the alias Bixo. So directly, you can chat with me. So if right now there is someone writing to me, yeah. The first one, yes, hi man, Mark. Mark is this first one. I am enjoying the call. Thanks. I am going to send you $10, Mark, right now. Very easy. RBTC. It's very simple, Gabi. I don't know. I know that you are.
Just to clarify, so this is a wallet that has a chat embedded, correct?
Yes, it's very easy, like that. I already sent, you can see.
Perfect.
Henry. Okay, I have a lot of. I am sending a lot. Only 3, guys. I don't have to. So if you want, we can answer some question about technical stuff. Something is with me. So only in, I don't know, in 5 minutes, I already sent, I made 3 transactions, very easy, everyone that is here in this meetup made a transaction, and you know that always we need at least 2 applications, WhatsApp, Telegram, and after go to a wallet and copy, paste in, and it's very complicated. That is our focus, to make everything simple and to make the transactions. Okay, I am receiving a lot of messages. Okay.
You're becoming very popular now. Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So
something that I would like to mention, and the reason why I'm very excited about the Bixo wallet, it's because you guys, as far as I can understand, are going to be about the first ones to integrate Reef enveloping. For those who are not familiar with enveloping, it's a technology developed by the Reef community, which enables users to send any tokens and pay the RSK transaction fees on that same token. So let's say you're using dollar on chain, or you're using Reef, or any token on the RSK blockchain, you can embed the transaction fees and avoid the user the complexity of dealing with smart Bitcoin. So enveloping is going to be key to take DeFi for Bitcoin to the masses and to reach mass adoption, because it really simplifies the blockchain part of it. And Bixo is going to be one of the first wallets integrating this technology. And something else that I believe, SA, would be very interesting for you is, as soon as we have a production-ready Reef communication solution, that would be very easy to integrate on this chat and enable peer-to-peer decentralized communications. So there is no central point of failure on the chat either. So that's coming soon to the RSK infrastructure framework, and applications, wallets with chat, such as Bixo, will be able to integrate as well. Thank you much. Thank you very much, guys. I don't know if you have anything else to share.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's inclusion is not only financial. Inclusion comes from a good product design too. It's the mix of them. Imagine with this chat, the solution of enveloping is like, what else? It's all decentralized, no custodial, so it's very easy to use it. So thank you, Gabi. I am receiving a lot of chat. I can continue. So thank you, guys. Thank you to all. See you next.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Ese. Thank you so much, Santiago, as well. And this is the spirit, no, of DeFi for Bitcoin. When we said, okay, we are in the process of building a decentralized financial system, but this is not enough. We need to use this power and this technology to decentralize the rest of the internet. So we need to decentralize storage. We need to decentralize communications and chats. We need to decentralize web hosting. We need to decentralize marketplaces. So this is something that now we're starting to get the building blocks, and it's for everyone in the ecosystem to start integrating the identity, the decentralized identity part, the identity vault, and so on. So thank you very much, Vixo team, for being pioneers in integrating enveloping and Reef communication soon. And with this, we pass the mic to our next guest, Mauricio from Tropicus Finance, with this Caribbean flavor, bringing a Caribbean flavor to the technology world. I love it. Hi, Mauricio.
Hi, Gaku. Thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here sharing with the ecosystem of projects that are working to build the future of the financial services on top of Bitcoin, and how can we contribute on that mission through Tropicus. Tropicus is a lending and borrowing DeFi platform that uses smart contracts on RSK and incentivize Bitcoiners and token holders of the RSK ecosystem, such as Dollar on Chain, USDT, to yield their Bitcoins and their cryptos, and at the same time to provide liquidity to fair loans to Latin Americans. We want to collaborate, as you mentioned, building DeFi blocks, and we want to partner with existing projects in the RSK ecosystem, as the amazing presentation of the friends of Vixo. Why Tropicus? Because it's the part of the world where most of the developing countries are located right now, or in the history, and we all of us want to live in the Tropicus because the life in Tropicus is great, What is the problem in that slide that you can see there? The problem to access to credit is experienced by almost all the Latin Americans. But just to give you an example, in Colombia, where I'm from, it is legal to charge with interest rate of 56 per year in a microcredit. And it is not just a Colombian problem. The situation is very similar in almost all the countries of the regions. Get access to financial services and credits is an essential element to be able to do business. And for many citizens, it is necessary to be able to get out of poverty. That is the importance of this kind of things. Saving in local currency has not been a good option either. And having options to do so in Bitcoin, Reef, Dollar on Chain, or USDT is almost a necessity in the region. In the next slide, please. To solve these problems that I mentioned, we built Tropicus, where Bitcoiners and crypto users will be able to have better interest rates than the rates in the international market. It can be done without losing control over their funds in a non-custodial manner and without losing privacy. At the same time, we can facilitate the access to credit to provide options for saving in cryptocurrencies. The next slide, please. And how it works. If you lend your Bitcoins and other cryptos, you can yield them with annual interest, and at the same time, your money is providing liquidity so that other users can borrow that money. Those who want to borrow can do can borrow the money if they add an over-collateralized guarantee, which is a very good option if you want to leverage, or if you need money to pay the bills without selling your Bitcoins or your crypto. You can use it as a collateral and borrow dollar on chain, USDT, among others. The next slide, please. We're going to the past one. Oh, we lose one more. Okay, we're going to offer two alternatives for lending and borrowing. The first one, we call it a full deal, where the interest rate will be higher and where we want to make it attractive to traders in the borrowing side. And a social yield, where the yields are a little lower. The Tropicus income is also lower to offer even lower interest rates on the borrowing side. In this case, we want to encourage the user to be a citizen of Latin America or any countries of the developing countries. Since no ID is required, we will limit the amount of money that the user can borrow. The social yield is a microcredit in the borrowing side. I want to show you next a very short video about how the platform and the product works. But I want to tell you first that in the beginning, Tropicus will be a Web3 DeFi platform. But over the time, we want to reach regular citizens so that they can operate in a local currency through partnership with on and off ramps. We started with over collateralized loans, but we are researching other type of scoring-based loans. Let's say the platform right now, we're in testnet. We invite you to go to tropicus.finance, give us some feedback and join an active community in Telegram. We will compensate the users who help us to build and improve Tropicus. I'm going to share my screen to show you the video. Very fast. Are you seeing my screen right now, Gaku?
I'm seeing you, but not your share screen.
Okay, sorry about that. Let's try it again.
Seeing a beautiful beach in the background.
Yeah, I know.
There we go. There we go. Now I can see your screen.
And now you're seeing a video?
Yes.
Like the Tropicus? Okay, perfect. So the experience that I'm going to show you, it's a different experience from the testnet at the moment. And we will share with you exclusively, since only the closest users knows about it. It is in Spanish because our initial user focus, but we will have an English version for the mainnet launch in May. Initially, the platform asks if you have some knowledge about DeFi, because the experience is different for an experienced user than a user that has never used DeFi services before. If you don't have any experience in DeFi, we guide you, and I'm going to put the video right now. We guide you to transfer through liquidity from our widely used exchanges so that you can bring your BTC from those exchanges and that you can swap it in for RBTC using, in this case, liquidity. And then to bring that BTC and RBTC to Tropicus. That's like the guide that we give to the user, so they can do step by step to bring their BTC to Tropicus and to swap BTC to RBTC through liquidity in this case. Once the user do that, they can see the interest rates for lending and borrowing. For lending and borrowing, in this case, lending. That, by the way, these interest rates are not fixed and changes according to the amount of money in the lending and the borrowing side. the user can decide what percentage of their funds wants to yield and can easily control their assets, as you can see. That is the transaction using liquidity. Okay. And in the borrowing side, the user can also see the interest rates, and also they can see how their assets are to manage their assets. And the platform also shows the risk level of the loans related to the probability that a part of your funds will be liquidated because of a fall in the collateral price. This risk is lower if you have more collateral. You can do it also on RUSDT and the RUSDT, dollar on chain, RBTC, and BRIEF. If the user have more experience on DeFi, we guide them through MetaMask, the MetaMask options, where they can access the same services presented in the same, in the case of the less experienced user, and they can lend money, or they can have some borrow about it if they want. And we also have a lot of help for the user, for different information about how to use the total amount of the protocol, and how to use different other exchanges to bring their money to Tropicus. As you can see from the experience in this first phase, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. Stop. Okay. As you can see, Gaku, in this first phase, we are integrated with some important partners in the RSK ecosystem, such as Money on Chain, such as Liquidity, MetaMask, and Chainlink. Soon, users will have an option of a Wallet Connect for Defiant and Bixo, and we will integrate options of our login and also wallets like Ledger and Trezor in the near future. In the next stage, we want to reach regular citizens without knowledge of crypto, partnering with local on and off ramps, who we already started some talks with. And to finish, I want to say that we are very excited to work together with this amazing ecosystem, Gaku, and all of the IOB and RSK team and the projects, and to join efforts to offer the financial services that Latin Americans need. We invite you to join us. We want to enjoy the Tropicus with friends, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mauricio, and I'm a big fan already of Tropicus, and the main reason it's because what you guys are trying to do here is to solve real problems. What I love about the DeFi for Bitcoin spirit that also these tropical vibes bring to the table is using DeFi technology to help real people, to create loans so people can become financially independent. So entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs can fund their ventures and create self-sustaining jobs and feed their families. So congratulations on you and the whole team. Really looking forward to see other partners and members of the ecosystem joining Tropicus and working together to bring the power of Bitcoin security and DeFi technology into the real world and helping real people. So thank you so much, Mauricio, and congratulations to you and the whole team.
Thank you, Gaku.
So with this, we pass the mic to our next speaker. It's John Melvin from Bleumi. And this is just a combination of two of the most exciting technologies that are out there in the internet, right? It's e-commerce plus crypto revolution. So welcome, John, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, guys, for joining the live cast today. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Melvin Susai from Bleumi. To get started, let's look at why does the business requires Bleumi. In monitoring the crypto space these past few years, Bleumi and others see a global shift happening, a shift from slow, expensive, and insecure traditional payment rails to crypto payment rails. While the shift is happening, a business must meet both crypto and traditional payment preferences of customers. And to meet this need, Bleumi has built the first crypto and traditional payments orchestration platform. Next slide. So with Bleumi, businesses can accept major crypto payments like Bitcoin, RSK Bitcoin, Ethereum, dollar on chain, and so on in parallel with existing traditional payment methods like credit card, bank transfers, and so on. Next slide, please. This single integration to Bleumi provides access to a variety of payment providers, both crypto and traditional, that accommodate a wide assortment of payment methods. Next slide, please. Say if a business wants to accept crypto and hold the crypto, the Bleumi solution has Bleumi Pay, CoinGate, Now Payments, and Coin Payments as an option for that. Suppose the business wants to accept traditional payments like card or bank transfer, but receive the payment in crypto, we have Transact for that. This payment flow is really helpful for businesses in certain markets like Argentina to avoid the traditional rails, which are expensive and have a long settlement period. Similar to Transact, we are also working on an in-house fiat on-ramp that we'll be launching soon in Bleumi Pay to provide more flexibility for a business. Next slide, please. So how do you use the payments orchestration platform? We have three different solutions. The first is B2C payments, where we enable payments on e-commerce platforms via plugins. So far, we have built plugins for the major e-commerce platforms like WooCommerce and Magento. And these plugins will work just like PayPal plugin commonly used globally. Next slide, please. The next option is directly calling the API, where we have created REST API and SDKs for major languages. Next slide. And the last, so right now, one of the client Krypton market is leveraging Bleumi solution to accept RSK payments. And if you get a chance, please take a look at the marketplace to see how the RSK payments is powered by Bleumi on the marketplace. Next slide. The last solution that we have is for B2B. And on the B2B side, in the future, payments will be as simple as sending a text. So we have developed a solution for businesses where they can log into a web application, create a link, share the link, and accept both crypto and or traditional payments. So let me show this to you. Can I take control over the screen?
John, do you want to share your screen?
Yes.
Right. Just touch the share plus in the bottom.
Okay. Second.
Can you find it? It's in down there. It's just share.
Can you guys see it now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Perfect. So once a business logs into the payment link web application, they are taken to this landing page, which lists all the past payment links that they've generated. And to create a new payment link, they can just simply click on create, which will open this create payment link page where they can enter all the payment details, like what is the payment for, description, select the customer, where they can add a new client or use our address book to select one of the past clients that they have interacted with, and then also select the currency, giving a wide assortment of payment methods. You can configure all the currencies that your business would like to accept. And for the demo purpose, I have set up Mexican peso, US dollar, and Argentina peso. So once you give all those details and save, you'll get a payment link for that particular payment request. So you can just simply copy this payment link and send it over in email, WhatsApp, or SMS. And when the customer opens that payment link, it is going to open a mobile-friendly payment URL where he can view the invoice for the payment request. And since I've used allow partial payments functionality, if the user has paid any amount in the past, he can see the receipts that he had, receipts for the payments that he had created. And then once he enters all the information required, he can select a payment method which is configured by the business. So for the demo, I have set up dollar on chain on RSK test network, RSK Bitcoin, Mercado Pago, and Stripe. And if you see, I've incentivized dollar on chain payment by giving a discount, whereas I've added a convenience fee for credit card payments. So let me just quickly do a payment using a new payment link that I've set up. And this request is for 500, but I've enabled partial payments. I'm just going to do 20 amount, 20 Mexican peso, and I'm going to use RSK Bitcoin for the payment. So once you proceed, it takes you to the next screen where it allows the payer to either choose a web wallet or another option for people who use exchanges. So in other option, it just simply provides the address and the amount that they need to copy and use it in the exchange. If not, they can click on web wallet. It'll identify the web wallet that I'm using. Right now I'm using Nifty, and I'm going to connect to my Nifty wallet. Once it's connected, I'm just going to click make payment, and the transaction is passed over to wallet. And once you review the payment, just click on submit. In the testnet, it might take up to 2 minutes for the payment to be verified. But as a payer, once you make the payment, you don't have to wait in the screen. You can just close the screen. Bleumi will look for the transaction on the blockchain and update the payment status once it is successfully mined. So let's just check if this transaction is mined. So it's still in the pending status. So once it is mined, similar to this old payment link that I showed earlier, you'll have the information for the payment that you made, and you'll also have PDF along with it for business use. So it's successful. This payment is successful. So the link that we just used is redirecting back to the home page. And we just successfully made 20 Mexican pesos via RSK Bitcoin. That's payment link demo. Back to the slides. So here again, I've just captured screenshots of create and share link for the payment link. Next slide, please. It's the payer view, which I just showcased. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. And what's next in Bleumi? So we are working on more apps and plugins like e-commerce plugins to integrate, bring crypto payments into widely used business tools like QuickBooks, Billsby for billing and subscription. And next slide, please. We are also working on a savings wallet to enable businesses to earn additional revenue from the crypto payments they receive. And last, we are working on a fiat off-ramp that can be used for accepting payments or sending payouts where incoming crypto transfers are automatically converted into fiat and transferred to bank account. This fiat off-ramp will be really useful for businesses in Latin region, especially in Argentina, when they try to pay an employee or contractor who is based out of US, and the employee does not have to deal with tax implications of converting Bitcoin to the US dollar. Next slide, please. So that's a quick overview of Bleumi. If you'd like to learn more in detail, please reach us at sales@bleumi.com.
Thank you so much, Sean, for the demo and the presentation. I'm a big fan, as everyone in the ecosystem of Bleumi. It's a super powerful solution for e-commerce and really bringing the benefits and the value from blockchain technology and DeFi for Bitcoin to end users without knowing they are benefiting from lower fees in e-commerce through this technology. I can share a story right now through Krypton Market, as you mentioned before, one of the Bleumi partners. There are more than 500 products listed on Venezuela, where Venezuelans from all around the world can just buy food or clothes or anything to their families and friends in Venezuela and just have direct delivery of those goods and products to their families using Bleumi in the backbone. So congratulations to you, John, and the whole team. You're really having a very powerful impact in Latin America and the rest of the world, and looking forward to see you continue growing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Gabriel.
And now we are going to pass to our next speaker, is Bogdan from Tenderly. This is especially interesting for all the projects and partners working on RSK. This is a wonderful solution that will help you control and do better use of your platforms. So with no further ado, Bogdan, go ahead. Stage is yours.
Hi, thanks, Gabriel. Just can you get the thumbs up if you can hear me well? Is it good? Okay, sure.
Yes, it's good. Just try to get closer to the mic, but it's good.
Okay, awesome. So hi, everyone. My name is Bogdan. I'm one of the co-founders and the CTO of Tenderly, which is a monitoring and debugging platform for blockchains that basically have smart contracts. And we were very happy once we saw it, because from the very beginning, somehow we wanted to interact with Bitcoin. And when we found out about RSK and everything that can be done there on the smart contract layer, we were quite happy to jump on board and help out developers building on top of RSK, especially when it comes to DeFi and everything else. So I'm going to share my screen now because I like to show stuff. I'm really bad at presenting PowerPoint presentations. I'm much better at clicking on things. So just give me a second to share here. So here we go. You should be seeing my screen now. So I'm guessing everyone here that has been using RSK has used the Block Explorer at some point in their life. Okay, good, it's sharing. So in one or the other point of their lives, you can think of Tenderly as something similar, but much more powerful. And this will especially be interesting to the partners on the live stream right now who are developing those smart contracts. So here I have added to a project, which is project like in any other software as a service product. Basically, I have added some contracts on the RSK network, and one of them is even on the RSK testnet. Now, usually when you use the Block Explorer, you would probably go and look at each particular contract on the RSK Block Explorer on the Block Scout instance that is also pointing on RSK, and you would see the transactions there. The first powerful thing that we can see here is that we have all of our transactions that we care about our smart contracts as developers building them in one central place. An even more interesting thing is that we can do complex filters, like, let's say I want to get all of the failed internal transactions that happened in my project, and we can see them almost instantly pop up. Now, Tenderly came to us as an idea 2.5 years ago, and it was one of those scratch your own itch situations. So we were developing smart contracts at that point on top of Ethereum, and we had problems where we didn't know why our transaction failed. So one of my colleagues, Nebojša, got this crazy idea: let's implement stack traces to actually see where everything is failing. And this was actually one of the first things that we developed on Tenderly. So the thing that you will see now, if you usually look at the Block Explorer, and this is maybe not a good, this is an internal transaction, sorry. Of course, I'm gonna pick a wrong one for the demo, but let's pick a failed transaction here. And let's pick, I don't know, this one. I hope we're gonna see a normal stack trace here. But basically, we can see exactly where a transaction failed. Now, everyone developing smart contracts know that it's really hard to see why a particular transaction failed. By using Tenderly, you can save even a couple of hours per day on your development workflow. No developer likes to see why their code is failing. They like writing new code. And of course, this isn't rendering or opening wrong transactions. I'm going to open a successful one, and you'll see how the overviews actually look. So if we pick one of the transactions here, we can actually see a normal stack trace that we would expect from a programming language, basically in 2021. But what's even more powerful here, you will note that there isn't like a proper debugger while developing smart contracts. I can jump into here, and we can actually see, and I can use the debugger like what you would expect in a programming language. So here I can see, for example, the output variable of the admin function is this 0x12ed, whatever, and I can go and step through the transaction and see exactly what's happening. But what is even more powerful here, of course, we can see events that were emitted. These aren't decoded as we don't have the source code for these particular contracts here. We can see the state changes here. But an interesting thing to note here is the gas profiler. So this is even more interesting, for example, on Ethereum, where the gas prices are crazy. But also in RSK, you have the block limit, how many transactions can go into a particular block. This is a really useful view where you can actually go into each particular thing that happened in the transaction and see what used how much gas. And in that way, you can optimize your transactions. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's all great. I have my contracts added here. How can I do this locally? So there's actually a couple of ways you can do it. I'm going to pick some successful transaction that was direct. Let's go here. These are all from a proxy. Let's pick something that isn't a proxy. So as you can see now, I can actually use the filters to drill down into a transaction that I want to do. The token here didn't have, but let's pick this transfer in. This is great. So if I use this transaction here, once it loads up, I can actually start changing the parameters of the transaction and see what would have happened if something was different. This is something we call simulation. So the simulator basically gives you a way to change the parameters of a particular transaction and see if it will pass or fail. So I'm going to pick, let's say, for example, this address, and let's say we're going to transfer a value of 200. Now, we can see that this happened in block 3286681. It doesn't matter. I can even see what would happen if I submitted the transaction now. Or let's say, for example, if I did it 4 blocks away at the transaction index of 6, for example, and I passed in more gas. So I'm changing all of this. And now when I click on simulate transaction, it won't submit the transaction on chain. So it won't spend any real money to see what will happen. It will actually simulate the transaction and give me the same view that you saw before, only for a transaction that actually never occurred on chain. And here we can see it says token transfer is not allowed during sale. Okay, I can go to debug error, for example, And here in the debugger, we can exactly see why it failed. So we see that if any of these are matched, the require will fail, and I can see the state variables that are actually participating in this. Again, I can go through everything, see exactly what happened line by line. There were no state changes as the transaction failed. Again, we can deep dive into the gas profiler, see what used how much gas. Again, deep dive, this is a simple transaction. And that's basically the transaction screen in the simulator. Now, an even more crazy thing that we can do is the forks feature. So now I can say, create a fork. I can pick the RSK here. And I can even say, okay, so let's go 5 blocks back, and I'm going to create a fork. So this is my test fork. And you can basically think of this as your own private fork you can play around with. So instead of even having to use the RSK testnet, you can create a fork for yourself that's working with mainnet data and test everything out for your DeFi project, for example. And then again, you can do create simulation. I can pick, I don't know, let's do this multi-sig wallet here. We can do the ad owner, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can actually chain multiple simulations on top of each other and simulate complex on-chain transactions. So that's the forks feature. Now, the next one that we have here is local transactions, and I won't do a deep dive here as this will be really boring for you to look at me using the terminal. But basically, it gives you all of the functionalities you saw so far, only for your local development. So while you have a local RSK node up and running, you can tell Tenderly how to connect to it, and you get all of this tooling for your local transaction. Now, every project needs to know how good is it performing. Are people using it? How many transactions are failing? Are the events that I'm expecting actually getting emitted and stuff like that? And that's where our analytics feature comes in. So here I have a couple of widgets that are tracking some stuff. This is the default dashboard that every project gets. So you have, for example, transactions over time, the number of events emitted over time, top callers of my smart contracts, for example. And then the most important one when you're building any product basically is the daily active users, weekly active users, and monthly active users. But this is not what you get of only this. So I can go, for example, here, say create graph, and just to show you, so we don't cache anything. So everything you do is calculated on demand just for you. So you always know that you're working with the most up-to-date data. So let's do something crazy. Let's do the average gas used for each contract per function. Okay, we're getting some data here. And then let's do it by the hour. And this is a crazy graph that makes no sense to it. You actually track, but here we can actually see, let's remove contracts so we get a bit less number of lines. But here we can see, for example, the next state function at 6 p.m. on April 26th was on average using 70,445 gas. And we can use this. I can add this, for example, to my dashboard that we just saw. And if I scroll down here now, we'll actually see it here. And then if this was something that I was really convinced on I need to track, I can just come here and at a glance be sure that everything is performing as it should. An interesting thing to note here is that, for example, you could have outlier detection here. So if some particular function starts using more gas than before, you could see it here, and then you would know that you would have to jump in and change something. And then finally, the alerting feature, which I like the most about our product. So we all know when you're building stuff on chain, on whichever chain, basically, you want to be sure that everything is working as expected. So before Tenderly and other products that had alerting, although Tenderly definitely has the most flexible alerting system, you would have to go, and then, I don't know, if you're building on Ethereum, you would have to go each morning, wake up, refresh Etherscan. If you're working on RSK, you would either have to go to the Block Scout or the RSK Block Explorer and basically refresh your contract and see what happened during the night. That's not ideal. That's not what developers should do. Developers should develop. They shouldn't refresh pages. So here you can actually go and set up different alerts for different cases. So the first thing that you see here is the traditional ones that you would expect. So alert me if there's a successful or a failed transaction. I'm going to come back to these, but for example, the emitted event. So if a particular event is emitted, notify me. If there was an ERC20 token transfer, if a particular address called my smart contract, again, if the balance, and we have to change here not to say ETH, it should be generally value balance, as we're now supporting a lot of chains, not just Ethereum and RSK. But basically, if the balance of these smart contracts falls below a certain threshold, notify me. If the transaction value matches a certain criteria, or if the state changed. And now let's focus on the state change, for example. I want to show you how flexible this is. So let's say, for example, I want to see if the state of the token that we were looking at here changes in a particular way. So let's see if the total supply changed by a particular percentage, so by more than 30%. Or let's say, for example, if, I don't know, let's pick a criteria and see if it's greater than 10,000, notify me. Or if just the value changed, notify me then. So it's quite flexible what you can do. The same thing would be if we pick the event parameter, for example. Let's do the token one. And then we know that all ERC20 tokens basically emit a transfer event. So we can do something, let's call it vanilla, and do if my address is called for the transfer, notify me. But let's say, for example, we can say notify me of all whale transactions. So let's say, for example, if the value of the transfer event is greater than or equal this many CSOV tokens, I'm not sure how much this is actually, notify me then. And then we can notify you on a lot of places. So all of this will happen in real time. And you can basically get alerts for email, Slack, Telegram, Discord, Sentry, and PagerDuty. And then finally, all of this is available via an API, and you can add people as collaborators. And that's about it for the short demo I wanted to do. So thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bogdan. I already can feel all the RSK developers working on projects on RSK, thinking and brainstorming how to use this amazing tool. So thank you so much. I'm really looking forward.
Thank you,
if anyone wants to contact you or the Tenderly team, where can they find you? Any website or any info?
Sure. I saw in the comments somebody linked their website, so it's basically tenderly.co. The easiest way is to go there, in the bottom right there's a chat. It will probably be me popping up saying how can I help, and then you can just chat there, and we usually answer pretty quickly. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and congratulations for this amazing technology. And now our final speaker, we're gonna call Max. I know most of you know Max. And what we're going to do here with Max is a quick summary of everything that it's been happening in the last couple of months, that projects are already presented to the ecosystem, and they keep on adding features and news. So this is kind of a summary of everything else that is going on. So Max, go ahead. What is this graph that we're seeing here?
Yeah. Hi everyone. This is just a quick review, a refresh about all the progress that we are seeing. This is the 5th ecosystem update, and we are seeing a lot of new projects building on Bitcoin. There are more than 40 projects running on DeFi for Bitcoin. So this is amazing. This is great for several aspects. But first, congrats to all of you. We are seeing traction. Next slide, please, Fran. We are seeing that Bitcoin ultra hodlers are talking about DeFi projects on RSK. Something is happening. Next slide. We are also seeing that the traction on RSK value lock is increasing a lot. We have reached the same number as Lightning Network. So we are seeing that second layer solutions on the top of Bitcoin are growing. So we are seeing that Bitcoin is being considered, as our vision C is the tip of the iceberg, of a new financial system, and several protocols are building DeFi networks or solutions on the top of Bitcoin, and that's great. Next slide, Fran. And you can go to the Explorer, Block Scout or RSK Expert, and you see the number that now we have more than 1.4K in BTC locked. So that's great, and that's thanks to all of you, all the partners that are getting more liquidity on their protocols, more traded volume, and more users and transactions. So that's great. Next slide. We are seeing that a driver is just for the growth is a level of collaboration between all of you. So let's keep pushing that. Let's keep integrating between all of you all together, because if one project grow, the other will grow. This is the idea. Next slide.
Max, let me add something. Based on what you said, I invite everyone to go to the Explorer or the stats.rsk.co, because as we are speaking right now, we have 72% of Bitcoin merge mining. So we're close to our all-time high. So the Bitcoin miners are, understanding the value of all the projects building on DeFi for Bitcoin and getting more and more traction and security on the second layer. So it's not only that we are at all-time high of Bitcoins locked in the RSK blockchain, but also percentage of Bitcoin miners providing their security to RSK. So congratulations to everyone, and thank you so much to the miners and mining pools that are supporting and adding security to RSK.
Perfect. Yeah, next slide. Just I will do a quick refresh. This month we have 2 governance tokens launched on RSK network, so sub token and mock token. This is helping a lot to bring more Bitcoins on RSK, but also others tokens, such as USDT. We are seeing that the RSK Ethereum token bridge, it's increasing a lot. We are seeing more than $4 million in USDT on RSK is our USDT. So let's try to integrate to different protocols to take advantage of that liquidity, because it will help all of you just to get more users and value locked. Next slide. Chainlink. We are seeing that top DeFi projects are seeing RSK. I think that we mentioned that last month. Chainlink is finishing the integration on RSK. They will launch 5 price feeder on rootstock. So if you need an oracle, so talk with Chainlink, and we will put in touch. Go directly to Chainlink, and they will help you with the price feeder you need. So this is great. Next slide. Just a quick reminder, bridges. The PowPeg is a bridge with Bitcoin, just to send BTC to RSK network. You can integrate that in your solution. We have the Defiant integrated the PowPeg native. Now you can use the PowPeg using a mobile wallet. So let's try it. It's great because it has no fees. So just pay the network fees, and so it's a great solution just to send BTC to RSK or to send BTC to Bitcoin again. The RSK Ethereum token bridge, it's also adding new tokens. If you want to add a new token, of course they can do that. Let's send a pull request through GitHub, and I think that they will do that. What else? There's a new bridge that is being built, is the RSK Binance Smart Chain. It's being pushed by Sovereign. It will be launched maybe in 2 or 3 weeks. Now it's on testnet. Let's use it. Let's give feedback, because it's the goal of interoperability is coming. Binance Chain has a lot of liquidity, and we got RSK projects, DeFi projects on RSK can take advantage on that. So, yep. Next slide. Integrate asset swaps, liquidity atomic swap, RSK swap, sovereign AMM, Defiant fast swaps, big switch. I think they are close to launch. And also for on-off ramps, for several countries, you can use Krypton API or LatamX API. Next slide. That's all. Oh, perfect. And just my final slide is just for users. There's a lot of opportunity here. Just high yields. If you have USDT, I think that I don't remember but 34% APR in sovereign. That's a lot. So use it. It's great, you know. And liquidity mining. Also, you can add liquidity on several protocols, and you receive governance tokens. You can find also arbitrage opportunities. We are seeing a lot of new projects on RSK, and it helps. It's an advantage to users because they can you can take some financial opportunities, arbitrage opportunities here. So very easy, and you also can build solutions, you know, for arbitrage. It's a good idea. Also, if you have governance tokens, or you can stake it and receive more rewards. So there's a lot of opportunities. See sovereign, money on chain, refund chain, RSK swap, Liquality, and more coming. And also with Ethereum, because you know you can find opportunities between several chains. You know, so that's great. And that's all from my side. I wanted to give you a quick reminder, but just you can prove that the ecosystem is growing, and let's work all together on that, because if we work together, we will grow faster.
Thank you so much, Max, and thanks to all the developers and projects building DeFi for Bitcoin. It is a dream come true to see how the ecosystem and the users are understanding the potential of Bitcoin's second layer. We're gonna see our faces again on May 20th for the RSK community call. So I invite you, all of you again. The specific time will be shared through all the channels. And if you are building on a DeFi for Bitcoin solution and you want to present it to the ecosystem, please get in touch with any of us, and we're going to make sure you are invited to present to the space. Also, there are plenty of education opportunities. Solange is working on RSK Academy. So if you know developers or universities that want to learn about how to program smart contracts and DeFi for Bitcoin solutions, let us know. We're starting to receive a lot of interest from Bitcoin communities around the world that want to learn more how to program smart contracts on Bitcoin. And we are opening those doors for all the members of the ecosystem to be able to present and to pitch on your solutions as well. So stay close and stay in touch, because we are opening those doors for all of these projects also to present in Bitcoin communities around the world. So with this, we close this fifth RSK ecosystem update. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and really looking forward to continue seeing this amount of growth and new projects coming to DeFi for Bitcoin. Thank you so much.